they been cramping my style all week. Craving chocolate treats, checking pants, checking seeds, sipping herbal tea, and fight for menstrual equity. Sheesh, man, I kick cramps ass. 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 You're now tuned in to the Kick Cramps Ass podcast with your host, Brittany Walker, advocating for menstrual equity, period poverty, and womb wellness. New episodes on Menstruation Mondays.
Welcome to the Kick Cramps Ass podcast, where I am your host, Brittany Walker. You made it to season 2, episode 13, and we're going to be talking about womb healing through Waistbeads. We're so excited about our guest today, Ofelia Keeno, with HERWaistbeads, and we'll be bringing her on in just a moment. But happy Menstruation Monday. It is Monday, June 3rd, 2024. It is June, guys, so it's Pride Month. You know, we're always advocating for those who menstruate, so that's everybody, women, girls, non-binary, trans men, so celebrating all of you. And in a couple of weeks, it will be Juneteenth, so shout out to all of our ancestors coming, giving us all that good juju and making sure that we are fulfilling our purposes in this lifetime. Now, we're also excited in just a few days on June 6th, which is 6/6, it's going to make our 2-year anniversary that we released our book, Energy's Formula to Kick Cramps Ass, a blueprint to naturally get rid of menstrual cramps. So you remember, guys, this is how it all started. We started with a book a couple years ago. Then April 1st of 2023, we decided to turn this into an organization. Now we're giving you all these good old products and services to help you acquire menstrual equity, combat period poverty, and achieve optimal womb wellness. So let's go ahead and get started for today. You know, we like to kick off each episode with the I am power statement. I representing inspiration, A representing affirmation, and M representing manifestation. And the I am power statement for today is, I am embracing the history and purpose of Waistbeads in an effort to honor my ancestors, my culture, and my womb. Ashe. So there it is. And then the quote of the day is, a woman that loves and cares for herself is not selfish. She is powerful, and she is harder to control or manipulate. And that's by Bethany Webster. So guys, you know we're always sipping on our tea, our good old cramp elixir. So we're going to take a quick sip, and we're going to go ahead and go to a commercial break, and we'll be back in just a few moments. Have you tried our bestseller, the Cramp Elixir? It's our herbal tea blend designed to reduce and eliminate menstrual cramps, PMS symptoms, and other uterine health issues that are hindering your day-to-day progress. Our elixir may decrease inflammation, reduce stress and anxiety, regulate blood flow, balance your mood, and it can kick cramps ass. It includes a variety of herbs including hibiscus, red raspberry leaf, calendula, motherwort, ashwagandha, plus more. Head over to kickcrampsass.org and grab yours today. Now, back to the show. All right. Thank you, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed that commercial. So let's go ahead and get this episode started. We're so excited about today's guest. We have Ofelia Keeno from HERWaistbeads. You guys know how much I love Waistbeads. We've talked about it. We've posted about it. We've done podcast episodes about it. We have Waistbeads even in our book. We talk about how they're on the hieroglyphics. So we're so excited about today's guest. I have several of her Waistbeads on. I think I'm up to like 7 now from the last year. But Ofelia Keeno is the owner and creator of HERWaistbeads. She is also a mother of 3 gorgeous queens, a partner, active community member, and local hype girl. She loves who she is and what she brings into every room, and having the ability to provide her spark of energy to others who cannot find it in themselves. Everybody, please welcome Ofelia Keeno from HERWaistbeads to the podcast. Hey, Ofelia.
Hey, girl.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here.
Absolutely. We're so excited to have you on today. So we definitely want to go ahead and get started with, may you please tell us more about Her Waist Beads, your mission, your values, and what you do.
Yeah, so I started her Waistbeads going over a little over 3 years now. When I first started the business, I actually broke down the meaning of her to be highly spirited, empowered, and rooted. But as I evolved with the business, it still has that initial meaning and representation because of me first starting my journey. It went from just wearing for flashy reasons to wearing for intentional reasons. So in between that middle ground, I saw the value and understood the significance and the background and the work of the waist piece. So that's what gave the highly spirited, empowered, and rooted. But of course, as I walked in the walks of making the waist beads and seen all the walks of people adoring them with the waist beads, now my sole mission with this business is just to embrace just womanhood, just embracing the confidence, embracing feminine energy, being an advocate for those. Again, like I said, I love being the sparkly energy that people can't find in themselves. So I solely commit to just providing that energy to women through the adornment of waist beads and whatever their purpose and intentions of wearing them for, respecting those truly and just being that person to provide them for them.
We absolutely love that. Like you said, is it a style thing? Are you being more intentional? There's so many different meanings for waist
So
beads,
many.
but once you learn that what they really are and what they really mean, it opens your horizon, like you said, on more the spiritual side. So let's talk about, what are waist beads. Some people don't even know what waist beads are, so what
Right.
are they and what healing agents do they provide?
Yes, definitely. So they're for sure not belly bands. So they are waist beads. I get that a lot, especially not being a store owner in downtown Las Vegas. So waist beads, they are a body adornment. They are rooted way back, originated into ancient Egypt and West and Africa days. They are still a highly worn traditional item, well, adornment in West African culture still to this day. But now on the universal side, of course, when it comes to the Western culture here, they are worn for different levels and intentions. Some do still wrap in the traditional ways. So wanting to wear for simple status, the status that you are, fertility reasons, if you are trying to become pregnant or if you are stepping into your womanhood. Some people do still wear them solely for the purposes of shaping their waist, as that God-gifting blessings that us most African women and Black women have. We have that hourglass shape because a lot of us, well, a lot of them were wearing them from birth, so naturally grasping and creating that hourglass shape. So they are worn for also now Western reasons, just to boost that confidence. They are worn as a flashy statement, a fashion statement. They can be worn as well for more spiritual reasons, which I love wearing them for, coming down to color meanings, those healing agents, as you mentioned, those crystals, even adding on those charms. So the healing agents that waist beads can be adorned are with the crystals, which I learned as I stepped into, like I said, that middle ground from going from just wearing them just to wear them to now, oh, I'm now wearing them for this specific reason. Of course, kudos and shout outs to everybody who memorized all those crystals because there's so many of them. But there are so many beautiful crystals that you could wear to protect and activate and just internalize our womb area, our sacral chakra, which I'm sure we'll get more into later on in this interview. So the healing agents would be those crystals and the selection and the choice that you wear. And yeah, we could talk more on that into the interview.
I love it. I love it. And people would think like crystals on the waist beads, wouldn't
Yeah.
that hurt? No, like I have several waist beads where she has custom crystals. She put charms on them. I even have one that you could put like essential oils in them,
Yes,
and they don't
your
bother
lava
me.
stones.
Yeah, like they don't bother me at all. And you guys know I'm super active. I move all the time. I get them caught in things and everything. They don't break. They're so durable, and I love, love, love them. So let's talk about what influenced you to advocate. I said womb wellness originally because of the waist beads, but you're all about woman empowerment. One thing I
Yeah.
love is once you launched your store, you have a wall that's like an I am power wall, which we had started the episode with an I am power statement. And just what made you want to advocate for women to look deep within and empower themselves and know like girl, you the shit. Like you already
Yeah.
have what's in you. You just got to learn how to bring that out and figure out what makes you you and what's going to help you fulfill your purpose. So let's talk about what made you want to advocate for that.
Yeah, so I could touch on both because definitely my first intentional set was during my own experience with protecting my womb. So my first intentional set was when I was pregnant with my twins, because it was my twins and my oldest are 18 months apart. So I was considered a double high risk pregnancy. So and I don't have a lot of family. A lot of people like to just like call out, like, hey, can you pray over me? Like anything like that. So one of my sorority sisters, the one who actually gifted me my first waist bead, which I just saw as a cute little accessory 3 years prior, she actually reached out to me again and was like, hey, Sands, you should make you some waist beads just to wear around your belly, just to protect the babies and this, and that. And I was like, okay, let me look more into it. So that's when I actually made my first set, which I wasn't comfortable wearing crystals yet because, again, this was a growing experience to me. This wasn't a realm that I was familiar with at that time. But I did wear intentional colors. So my colors were red, brown, and gold. And those were the colors I wore throughout the third trimester of my pregnancy until I delivered, and I obviously had to cut them off because I lost a lot of weight carrying twins. But so I did have my first set, and from that sense of how my waist beads made me feel, I was comfortable enough to advocate for the waist beads through the pregnancy, through the postpartum of not feeling comfortable with myself. And then me naturally just being a local hype girl, I've always been a girl's girl. So me now being an advocate of just, like you said, just embracing woman empowerment, it just kind of just rolled into place and played with me. I feel like it was just a God-given gift. Like, okay, here you go. You don't do this anymore. You don't paint anymore. Well, here you go. You can create magic with color combinations of beads. Here, you can learn the color meanings. Here, you can learn the crystals and use all of that with your creativity to create something magical and beautiful for women to wear. On top of me being comfortable to be like, hey, girl, you look good today. Like, girl, no, you can wear these too. I don't know. It all just purposely just came aligned, divine timing. So me being comfortable in my own skin and learning how to be comfortable in my own skin and being comfortable with making other people uncomfortable who want to be comfortable, it just kind of just all rolled in together. I know it feels like a little confusing. Me uncomfortable, to be comfortable, to make you uncomfortable, to make you comfortable. It makes sense when you make it make sense.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And that was so beautifully said. And guys, when I say she's legit the hype girl, Ophelia and I met on another platform. By the time I finally got to meet her in person, I had already bought waist beads online, things of that sort. We had been communicating, but literally when we saw each other, it's like,
we forgot.
Like, hey girl, I had twins last weekend. Like, what's going on? Like, she's literally a vibe each time you see her. So I just recommend, like, we're gonna put all of her information in the description of this episode, so you can catch some of that good old positive energy that she's always proactively impacting people with, and we love that. So we first noticed waist beads. We mentioned this a little bit earlier, but while we were researching like ancient African history, like you mentioned, like Kemetic Egyptian history, things of that sort, and we saw waist beads on hieroglyphics, and we were like, what? Like they were rocking them back then. So could you tell us more about some of the history of waist beads that you've discovered for yourself?
Yeah, so I actually, when I first did my research on the more depth and meaning of waist beads, because of course I didn't want to go into a business, now that this is a business, without knowing and disrespecting anyone's, since this has so much history behind it, I wanted to be sure I knew at least the bare minimum basics. So as far as the Egyptians go, they actually were worn as a symbol of status. So you would know a woman's status based on, and I'm not there with my waist beads. My waist beads, they were known as, you could tell a woman's status based on her bead size. The bead size and the bead colors. So mine bees stay between the same of a six and an eight, but then traditionally they will wear like twos or fours, which are like large bees. So you could tell by the symbol status from the bee size, and then also again by the colors. Same with African cultures, based on the colors. Like you will know when a woman is entering her womanhood, or when a baby, based on their color of their anklet, not even a waist bead, what stage in life they are in. Same with women, once they do enter that womanhood, what level that they are at based on those color significance. And that's why I do offer in the store, I do have like a color chart to like let people see if they do, because again, as I mentioned before, everyone wears their waist beads for different reasons. So I want to respect those reasons, but I do want to make sure those who do want to choose intentional, they have the resources to choose intentionally, because it is a beautiful experience once you get through the, oh, these are cute phase. And then you're like, oh, hold on. Right. I have been struggling with this. This can help me activate, or this can get me through this healing journey. This can make me feel a certain type of way as I'm going through this transition in life. So yes, back into the history of it, there is still a lot to learn. And as far as the whole womb wellness, I am my own teacher, like still teaching myself as a student. So I haven't dived into it yet. And I'm pretty sure I'm assuming, I would think that you probably read it by now. My most recent purchase I haven't dived into yet because it was a little intimidating when I first bought it and opened it up. Is The Sacred Woman. So I have not read it yet, but I do have it here because I do want to receive more in-depth, intentional.
Yep.
Well, how would you say it? Like ancient ways of how we used to cleanse ourselves, along with the waist beads. So I still am learning a lot, but I am comfortable enough to provide the resources and the information I do have. So to wrap and answer those questions, I do know that the symbol of status was the main foundation, and also the shaping for the intentions of wearing waist beads, and then it just gradually turned into, now I want to wear it to help me help my reproduction. Okay, this is a healing crystal to get through those fibroids or those heavy menstrual cramps, or I'm not really sexually attracted to, like, I'm not really engaged in my sexual energy. So they evolved into us learning more and more of how we can turn the waist beads into those different multiple reasons of why we wear them now.
Absolutely. You said so many gems. I'm going to go back a little bit.
So I can gather. You guys, I did warn her before this. I do get all over the place.
I love that. First of all, shout out to Queen Ofelia. Guys, Sacred Woman. I have talked about that several times. We had an opportunity to work together with Queen Ofelia at an event last year. We love her. She is the reason why I literally said, okay, let me cross over and start focusing on womb wellness. Like, she is the GOAT on that reason.
I'm excited for the read.
Love that. The thing that you're going to love about her too is she's a Leo like you.
See, I already know. I follow her already. Like I said, I just knew when I bought the book 3 years after hesitating on buying the book. But then when I finally bought the book and I sat down and opened it, I was like, okay, I'm not in the headspace for it yet. And one thing about me, I'm not going to rush through anything, because if I'm picking it for an intention, I'm not going to, and you already know because you read the book. So I want to be able to be in the space where I can catch up, breathe, open it, close it, memorize what I read, and then come back to it in a still refreshed space. Right now, it's with the store opening and everything going on, I'm not there yet. But I have her. She's going to be read eventually, so I'm excited to dive in.
That. Like you said, even just making space that you're going to get there when you need to. Because when I first read the book, I was not as elevated as I am now. I was still low vibrational, still doing certain things that wasn't going to align with me shifting gears and really taking heed to that knowledge and appreciating it. And then a couple years later, after I made some major life transitions, I went back and reread it, and it had a whole other meaning to it. Something else that you mentioned about learning on your own. You're a self-student. You research on your own. That's something that we promote all the time. Guys, you need to learn from yourselves. There's nothing wrong with picking up a book and reading. At one point, it was illegal for us to learn how to read
Right.
and write. So educate yourselves, because a lot of this information that we're talking about today and the things that we're encouraging you on, it's in a lot of books that's written by our elders, our people, and people that's really trying to put us on. Also, people always say, well, I don't have time to research. I don't have time to look into things. I say, well, you got time to scroll on social media. Go to your phone
Right.
and what your screen time looking like and how many apps you've been on. You got time that if you want to go shop for something, you research. If you want to get the best deal on traveling, you research. If
Right.
you want to decide on what food delivery you get, and you research. So there's nothing wrong with taking 30 minutes here and there and just looking into things, following heed to like, hey, this is interesting. Let me learn more. Or even if it's something that you might, like you said, feel uncomfortable about and you're not used to it because it's not your normal or it's not traditional for you, just take some time and look into it and just see if your instincts align with it. If it piques your interest and like, let me just learn a little more. It's nothing wrong with learning for yourself. And then even what she was mentioning about womb healing, my first waist bead, it was all about vanity. I just wanted something to, after I dropped 80 pounds, I'm like, hey, I still got this stomach
Okay.
hanging at the bottom, but until I get this tightened up, I'm about to throw on this cute waist bead. And then it's funny because the waist bead broke, and that's the only one that I have break. But once I learned more about waist beads and what they really mean, and I was more intentional,
Right.
all of the waist beads have literally just stayed on. They've been holding tight for a minute.
And it's funny that you mentioned that, because I don't like to say like the magic behind it, because again, some people wear them for different reasons, and some people aren't comfortable with the word magic because they didn't align it. Oh, this is voodoo. We're not going to get there. But
Right.
people really do not understand how the waist beads really do work. Like you just said, that was the only one that broke on you because you didn't wear it intentionally.
Right.
And sometimes when I get girls who come to me like, my waist bead broke, and I could get the vibe like, okay, but you probably weren't wearing it for like, you chose it for a different reason. So but I don't want to tell them that without letting them know, like, they really are a match. Like, they know, like, they're for one, they're coming from my hands. So if your energy is off, if you're really a bad person and you're mean outside of this room, like, because of course everyone's gonna be pretty and nice in your face inside the shop. But if you're a mean, evil person, if you hit your kids or you're rude to your spouse, you're disrespectful to your elders, all that negative energy, my waist beads are going to break on you because I'm coming from a good space. I mean, if I was making those 6 years ago, maybe we probably would have been meeting equally with them just breaking because, I wasn't in a good space. But I'm in a great space. Right. I have beautiful children I'm raising. I'm in a good space with my partner. I'm evolving as a woman and really learning my feminine energy now. So people don't understand, like, your energy really does align with what you do. And that's one of the first things I tell people. Your waist beads are going to teach you your boundaries. And that's just not physically, that's like inner work. Like, those boundaries that you cross from those energies that are getting blocked because they're around your sacral chakra and you have all that nastiness, they can't meet you to your brain, to what's going on there, because you have so much blockage going on. Of course they're going to break because they're not knowing what they're supposed to do there. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because people really don't understand. Like, I try to apologize and I offer discounts because, I mean, I'm a business, I have to make it work. But people don't understand the magic and the intention from behind wearing the waist beads and how you have to really do the work to just and it's more like a gift. Like, you have to deserve wearing the waist beads. Yeah, you're buying them, but you got to work to be able to be honored enough to wear the waist beads. So, yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
Absolutely. Like, girl, I was like, wait, part two of this episode, what? Because everything you just said about energy makes like so much sense, and that's something that I will talk to people about. I'm picky about who does my locks, because if your fingers are touching my crown chakra, that's going to trickle down to my body. I don't need all your energy on me. If I'm going to like a chef or a restaurant and I know that, that person, like you said, is mean, they're they're stealing from their customers, they're robbing
Right.
Peter to pay Paul, they're doing invaluable things or things that I don't want to align with, I'm not going to purchase from that. So yes, I like to buy my products, especially when they're handcrafted or handmade.
Yes.
I like them to come from specific energies,
Yes.
period. It's not none of that, oh, well, let me get it because it's cute. Then when I get home, I'm going to save
Maybe on
it and post
Etsy
it.
quick. I'm
Like,
like, go ahead, have fun
no.
with that.
Right, right. Like, I really want my products to be made with intention from really great, valuable people that are filled with positivity and consistency. Like you said, not just oh, I'm just doing this for show on social media. No, like, what do you like when you not on camera? And that's
Right.
why I said each time I'm around you,
And
you
being
literally
authentic
have
about it.
the same authentic, genuine energy. And that's why these waist beads are popping. So love, love, love that. So, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we're going to be right back to you. All right. Welcome to kickcrampsass.org. Now, feel free to subscribe and get 15% off. By doing so, you're subscribing to our newsletter and you receive the latest news, resources, and updates. We appreciate you for connecting with us, so we want to get you with 15% off on your first order. So go ahead and leave your first name, your last name, and your email address, and you'll have this 50% off coupon that you can use towards your first order. Now, back to the show. All right, guys, welcome back. We hope that you enjoyed that quick commercial break. So, Ofelia, how are waist beads related to reproductive health or menstrual cycle? You mentioned earlier about, infertility. You'll have customers, you've had a customer say, hey, make this intention. I've even come in and been like, hey girl, like, you got red waist beads because of this, that, and the third. I've literally, when I come into your shop or when I shop online now, I'm literally looking for specific colors because I know, like you said, colors mean certain things, sizes mean certain things. So let's talk about that just a tad bit more.
Yeah, so I definitely have been, and I'm glad I have been getting those type of orders because it is pushing me to, again, learn those different meanings and those intentions of how certain things pair with one another, because again, everything doesn't mesh, just like our fruits. Like, we can't have the same fruits in the same basket. So learning how to pair those things to serve one purpose. So I did recently have an order to help someone become pregnant, as she's been trying and trying. So this recent set that I can show you guys, because I'm just so happy, because this is one of my first ones for pregnancy. So I gave a clear base because it is her first set, so I wanted something where she felt comfortable wearing. Not too much color, but I did give the let me go here. I did have the cowrie shells on there because those are meant to bring good luck, and they are a protector for the wearer. They also do symbolize signs for feminine energy and fertility. My favorite stone for womb healing and reproductive, well, these two stones are my favorite when it comes to the sacral chakra and healing. Whatever you're trying to heal in this area, my favorite two are moonstone and carnelian. There's a whole bunch of other ones, but my favorite go-to will be moonstone and carnelian. And so for moonstone, I love doing moonstone because the moonstone does balance those hormones, and they also do carry that feminine energy for your womb healings. And then the carnelian stone helps dissolve those pains, and it also does help balance the menstrual cycle and recharge the body. So specifically for this set, I chose carnelian just to recharge the body, because for women who are trying to become pregnant, who have failed at becoming pregnant, it does bring a lot of stress and anxiety. And we know when we're stressful, we kind of just droop. So that carnelian, I want it to just keep her activated, keep her recharged. And it is actually, I'm not sure if you saw it, it's actually a heart, a carnelian heart. So I thought that was just cute, because I love when they have the stones of certain shapes. And then again, that moonstone, just to protect and embrace that feminine energy. Sorry, I lost the question.
Oh, no, you're good. It was just talking about waist beads related to reproductive health or the menstrual cycle. It's funny that you mentioned carnelian because I have a carnelian on because
I saw it's chunky. I love it.
thank you. With my human design, I'm a generator, so my power
Me too.
chakra is yay. My power chakra is my sacral chakra, so
Mm-hmm.
I try to keep carnelian on me in some form or fashion, whether it's close by or in my creative space.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm trying to
Got mine
get
right
my
here.
juices flowing, yes, when you want to get those juices flowing and
Mm-hmm.
everything. So I love that you brought that up and aligned that the sacral is your womb. So
Yes.
moving out that energy, a lot of people don't realize, just like how you can go get a yoni steam, how people do reiki, how you want to cleanse that energy. And we
Mm-hmm.
talked about even like sexual trauma. If you
Right.
have sexual trauma or you're getting out of a bad relationship or somebody was
Soul
cheating on you,
ties. All
your
that.
womb can be cleansed from these waist beads.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sorry, I just had to just
No,
throw
no,
that in
no, no,
there.
definitely, because it is like a part of cleansing with,
Mhm.
because there's different ways that you could cleanse your sacral chakra. But waist beads, wearing them, you can wear them intentionally. Like, so if you were a victim of trauma sexually or physically, it doesn't even have to be anything a color attenuated with the sacral. You could wear working on your root, like rebuilding that foundation. Because obviously, if you go through something like that, it's traumatic. It breaks your foundation. It breaks what you probably thought was security um, and that solid foundation, because it may have been someone close to you. As stats show that most of the times it is by someone who you were close with. So wearing something red or wearing a tiger's eye, which is a strong healing stone. So choosing those waist beads intentionally to revive that area. And as I was mentioning earlier, the waist beads can be also just a way of making yourself feel confident again, so you can work through those traumas and breaking that blockage, whatever is going on down there, because it does boost that confidence. Wearing around your waist, it doesn't have to be a solid. That's why I love being able to adore waist beads with charms and crystals, even if the charms aren't intentional, because obviously charms aren't crystals. Even if they're not a healing stone, butterfly charms are so beautiful. And just mix it with the amethyst or rose quartz, like I do a lot. So just having something beautiful on you to remind yourself that you are that goddess. Like, can't nothing break you. We are connected to. This is the main structure of our body. I was listening to a podcast recently that a lot of people don't like to affiliate that with rebirth and death. A lot of people don't want to think of the death, but a lot of times we have to die things out to rebirth things that are waiting for us to seek in. So, thank you, girl. I be trying to listen to my podcast. I'm trying to learn.
Yes.
I want to be able to know
Give the
how
people
to
the
relate.
word, honey. A word.
Because we only know what we know from what we experience. I have my own experiences, but I can't relate to someone with heavy menstrual cycles or anything, because I personally never went through that. Even after giving birth to twins and my other child, I still, like, I just, when it happens, I'm like, oh, it's happening, and I just get my tampon and I put it in, and then I go on my day. I still have not experienced anything traumatic to where like my partner, like I was telling you before we came on, he's at home right now, like sick to his stomach, like he's cramped up. He's asking me what to do, and I'm like, I don't know, because I don't ever have like heavy cramps. I don't know. So we're searching things together, like, okay, let's get a hot towel, So I can't relate unless I learn to teach myself by listening to all these amazing podcasts, reading books on just our healing tools for our healings, because all energy is activated from here. Yes, we have the 7 chakras, but to me, this is the most important one, because your creation comes from here, whether that's life, whether that's business opportunities, just everything comes from here. So so the waist beads, they just are it's just so beautiful how they are, and they're not, we have necklaces, but waist beads are intentionally worn here, where the most intentional part of a woman is. You see men wearing waist beads, but women wear waist beads, and the woman gives birth here, the woman creates here. So I feel like it's only right and divine for us to have that special adornment purifying that area, because I mean, we get piercings to make ourselves look beautiful. Why not adore the most beautiful, precious thing on us here? So that's my spaz on that. I love waist beads.
Waistbeads is a whole vibe. It's a couple of things I want to touch on that you mentioned. So when you mentioned butterflies, I love that you mentioned that, because most people don't realize that butterfly is a representation of transformation.
Yeah.
Then you backdoor and was like, oh yeah, most people don't want to think about life and death because death has to do with transformative.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people that don't believe in tarot cards feel like, oh, the death card, that means the devil. No, that means that you're transforming from a bad cycle,
right,
and you're transforming into, you're literally coming out your cocoon and you're transforming into a butterfly. So I love that you said that, and just how waist beads literally surrounds energy.
yes.
It has to do with a lot of energy, and just everything that you just mentioned was just a whole vibe. I was just like, yes, preach. I want to throw the Bible at you. I want to throw the Quran, whatever you into. If that's not your thing, I want to throw some crystals at you, because look, all of that was literally a whole word. Now, this next question, we kind of already answered it, because I was going to go into, for individuals who are suffering from uterine ailments like infertility, fibroids, which waist bead colors, crystals, or charms do you recommend to aid in healing? And you talked about carnelian and sacral chakra and wound and all that. So if you don't have like another color, so like, what's just your favorite color in general, or what's your favorite crystals to work with in general? Is it something that you touch that you're like, ooh, that just gives me a whole vibe today?
My go-to, and it's like so addicting, my go-to as far as crystals is amethyst. And I don't know if I'm being biased because my company is purple, which was actually chosen because it was my mom's favorite color. It actually grew on me when she passed. I'm like, okay, let me look up. And then that's when I was learning more things. And I'm like, oh, purple is actually a badass color. Like, that's a divine, like, now everything about my mom just makes so much sense. And that's why I always tell people who have parents that are still here to appreciate those relationships, because you really don't see the value of it until circumstances happen. But no, amethyst will be like my number one go-to. Anytime people are like, oh, I want you to create me a waist bead for protection, or a waist bead for this, or a waist bead for that, I'm like, oh, boom, amethyst, tiger's eye, oh, clear quartz. But amethyst is just such a it's just such a overall powerful healing stone. It can help in any chakra. It's definitely aligned with your crown chakra because of the color significance. But it is that protective, right? But it is that protective against all negative energies. Besides clear quartz being a master healer stone, amethyst is second to that, or I think it's number one. But I just love how, I don't know, I just feel like amethyst just looks beautiful with anything. Like, I could add an amethyst to an orange waist bead if someone's working on their sacral chakra. I can add amethyst with red, because red and purple just obviously just go perfectly hand to hand. I could throw it on a black waist bead. I could throw it on a clear, a gold, a yellow. Everything looks just so beautifully aligned with the amethyst. So my go-to is the amethyst, and because it's such a strong, powerful healing stone. She was actually my first real chunky raw crystal stone, her and pyrite. So I always have an amethyst, I always have a carnelian, I always have my my pyrite and my citrine. So those are my four go-tos. I don't put a lot of pyrite on waist beads because I don't really think they make them as for jewelry making, unless I haven't found the specific jeweler wholesaler for that. But I don't, if they're not locally, or if I can't find them, I'm assuming it's probably going to be fake, or just,
Right.
I'm not going to rush it. If it's not, it hasn't popped up to me, then I'm not going to go for it, because it's for a reason why it's not as a bead making accessory. So I'll leave it as a healing stone on the side.
Absolutely. I loved all the stones that you mentioned. I have all of those on my nightstand, so it's crazy. I always say amethyst, I have a love-hate relationship with. Amethyst is because everybody, it's just so easy to get your hands on, but when you get your hands on like one that's not polished, like a really nice raw amethyst, it's like, ooh, it's so pretty. The other thing I wanted to say is my condolences for your mom. I did not know that.
Oh
So
yeah.
coming into your store now is going to have a deeper meaning for me
Oh yeah.
because I didn't realize that's the reason why it's purple.
It's nice and
So
purple.
I love that. That's just like, oh, it's such a beautiful way to honor her. So
Yeah.
I love that you have that set up. So
Thank you.
let's talk about your menstrual cycle. I always ask this question to all my guests, but do you have like a regimen or a ritual to prepare for yours? You just mentioned like you haven't had the experience of like a tough menstrual cycle, but is
Right.
there anything that you know, like, hey, I like to drink this tea, or I like to eat certain things, or hey, I want to take a
Yeah.
bath soak?
So I don't have negative experiences as far as physical, but I definitely do, and I only notice it since we've been with my partner because he's with me all the time. Obviously, I do get that B word, like I do turn to that B word, like in the beginning of it, and so now my practice building up to what I know is coming is me being more aware that it's coming, so I catch myself on my reactions because I'm more on a short fuse, or I'm more cranky, or I snap more often. And thank God that he's understanding of that because he's like pulling my pants, like, "Are you on it? Like, what's going on here?" So my practice that I've recently started this year is just taking time to rest. I'm all like you mentioned, you're a generator. I'm a generator as well. I'm constantly on go. Like,
Right.
you're like, how do you do it with kids and shop and you work full time overnight? And I'm like, because I just naturally have always just been a go getter. It just
Right.
and then finding out my human design, I'm like, oh, it makes sense. I'm not crazy. This is just really who I am as a person. So for me to relax is very hard because I feel like I can't relax because I have so many other things to do. That's another reason why I struggle with meditation, and I'm trying to learn different meditative styles because I can't sit down and think. Well, not try to think because I'm thinking of everything that's going on. So one of my rituals I'm trying to start as a ritual is just taking time to sleep. Taking time to just turn off everything else outside and just focus on letting my body relax so I can revive myself through the period and that cycle. Because again, like I said, it's never like heavy or unpleasant or stressful for me physically, but I do see and notice the toll it takes on me mentally and emotionally. So one of my rituals I am learning is just to rest and drinking my black tea through that time frame to just woosah myself. So
yeah, people don't pay attention to like the period being like the rite of passage. It's like a very powerful time for menstruators. We can manifest whatever we want. However, we have to take that time to rest and rejuvenate so we can keep going for the remaining days that are in the cycle. Like, I think more of us should be more mindful of like either tracking our cycles or just keeping up with it so that we can say, ooh, this is why I'm acting a little off. Like this is why everybody's getting it. This is why everybody's getting under my skin because this is about to come. So let me take a day or two, or let me see, like, hey, like you said, once I get the kids settled, once I get the partner off, whatever, I can at least take a couple of hours to myself to try to like relax, rejuvenate.
Just
and even if it's not like, hey, taking a nap or taking a bath, do something that you love, like a hobby, like go paint, go read a book. If you like to dance, go stand in the mirror and like give yourself life. Just find something to bring yourself like care and love during that time.
100%.
For sure. So are there any last remarks or comments that you would like to share with us before we close out for today?
Well, only because you just mentioned about dancing. Dancing's actually been something I've been newly introduced to, which aligns perfectly with the Waistbeads and the sacral chakra, and activating that woman energy. A lot of people who are into it more will even relate it to like the tribe sisters, like when you're like the wilderness wives. stepping outside your shell, because me dancing in the mirror to myself was so weird at first when I first started doing it. But now I love doing it. Like, even if I get off this podcast, I'm probably going to dance in the shop in the mirror right now before I go home in my own privacy, because no one's here right now because we're all closed today. But, just stepping out of your comfort zone and learning more information on why people, especially ancient, like, why did our sisters then do things like this? Why were they dancing around the fireplace? Why were they wearing waistbeads? Why were they using these healing stones to place on our bodies during these transitions that we're going through in our life? Why were they drinking these certain teas? Eliminating the thought that dark energy is negative and bad, and just realize and taking the time to understand that it's not a negative, it's not voodoo, it's not witchcraft, it's a healing aspect, which especially in the Western culture we lose track of and sight of because of what we've been taught. And just breaking and reteaching yourself, like erasing that mindset and just relearning everything on your own, in your own terms, in your own space of what you're comfortable with doing. So just wrapping that in with waistbeads. So a lot of people are still hesitant on wearing waistbeads, especially those who are not of color. Just learning the differences and how open it is to everyone, of all women, of all colors, all sizes, all ethnicities, all backgrounds. Learning that information, and of course, if you are local, come on down to the store. I'm off of 1020 Fremont Street in downtown Las Vegas, you say you're going to have my information on the bio. Just send me a DM. I'm more than happy to answer any questions, because I do love how waistbeads have taught me so much more of embracing womanhood and unity at that, on top of body positivity. So I am an advocate on adoring anyone who walks in my store and walks into my space who wants to be adored, whatever your intentions are. So yeah, just teach yourself the knowledge, come ready with questions, come ready, excited for a change in a journey.
Yes, I'm here for it. Couple things you touched on. Go ahead and drop your website and your social media tags. I'm going to include that in the description of the episode. So can you plug those real quick?
Yeah, so my website is www.HERWaistbeads.com, and my Instagram is @HERWaistbeads. Everything will have a white avatar logo. So if you don't see a white logo with the purple curvy girl, that's not me. I know there's like a Her Waist and something else, but HERWaistbeads is everything where you can find me.
Absolutely. So I will be sure to include that. What you mentioned about dancing in the mirrre and becoming comfortable.
I love
that
it.
Because, guys, let me tell you, when I saw her at the vending event I told you that we did together, when she was doing the waist beats, I was dancing in front of her while she was tying the waist beats. When I went to her store, I was dancing again. I'm like, I'm sorry for dancing in front of you, girl.
I'm
but
so
like
used to it now, like moving with you guys. Like, okay.
Yeah, like I'm like, okay, so being from Texas, family from Louisiana, I'm a twerk, but then it's like I turn into like I start belly dance. I'm like,
oh
girl,
yeah, I have a workshop coming soon for that.
And yeah, and just to give a shout out to Embodied Silical Wellness, we had an episode with them last month in May, but that's what they do. It's all about body movement physiology. Like she literally does like belly dancing classes and just movement. Like you don't understand, like movement releases stress reliever. Right, balances hormones. It helps with all optimal wellness. So not just physical, spiritual, emotional, mental. So that is just so important. And everything that Ofelia said today, guys, we're just so excited about. So we're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Now, navigating to our resource center, we want to give you guys access to all these complimentary resources that we have available for you. We have our blog, book suggestions, our menstrual blood chart, exercise moves to kick cramps ass. We have recipes. We have reports. We have research studies that helps to prove how holistic approaches assist with achieving wound wellness. We have wellness tips, wellness referrals, so business organizations and individuals that we would like to refer to you that are our strategic partners, wound terminology. Maybe there's some wound options that you're not aware of. This can help you out. And lastly, yoga moves to help you kick cramps ass. feel free to take advantage of this complimentary resource. All right, guys, now back to the show. Okay, guys, welcome back from that commercial. We hope that you enjoyed that. So we're going to talk about June events. So, HERWaistbeads, do you have anything going on for the month of June?
Yes. So June 9th, which I believe is a Sunday, at 12 p.m. here at my shop, well, in the space where my shop is located is inside Gather House. We will be having a collaborative event. This will be with all the local Waistbead creators in Las Vegas. The title is called Wasted in Self-Love. So this will be an event that's just going to celebrate the body positivity, love, and growth through wearing Waistbeads. So within this event, this is a ticket event. I believe the fee is $35, but within that fee, within the event, it's going to be access to all local creators out here in Las Vegas, other vendors as well, surrounded with the wellness of the womb. There will also be a sound healing. There will be a dance and movement portion. You will also receive a certificate for an intentional beading ceremony that's going to take place during the event, and so much other things. So it's going to be a great event. This is going to be the first time that I'm aware of, which I'm so happy I was able to activate and get going. For us, it's going to be the first time where all Waistbeaders are going to be under one roof. So this is going to be such a beautiful, magical event. So definitely if you're in Las Vegas, come on out. Again, this is June 9th at 12 p.m. here at the Gather House, which is 1020 Fremont Street. You can purchase your tickets. Their Instagram is at Sincerely the Heart of Healing. I'll be sure to give it to Brittany so she can put it in the description as well. You'll purchase your tickets directly through them. And yeah, that's the only thing for June. Look forward to the rest of the summer because it's going to be so much fun.
I love it. I love it. And guys, for us, so next week, we're going to have the Fibroid Queen from Ghana, Africa on.
Ooh, okay.
So excited about that. And then we're going to wrap up our mid-season with Rooted in Flow. We have a 2-part episode, so yoga and herbalism. And then we always do, of course, a mid-season break, guys. So we're going to do that after June, and then we're going to roll back into July. But just for some announcements for June, we're so excited. We talk about Flex all the time. Flex is a company that has pads and menstrual discs and things of that sort, a really huge company, but we're on their advisory board. So we made that announcement on June 1st, their first advisory board that they have. So many great things coming with them this month. And then also on June 1st, we made the announcement that we are the official sponsor of the United States of America Mrs. Nevada 2024. So look for all of the events we have coming up, all of the things we have going on with her. We're going to be doing so many events around Vegas for the next year. So excited about that. So be sure to keep up with us. And we're going to talk about all the ways you can keep up with us in just a second. But we still are proactively accepting listeners' mail. So feel free to comment to this episode. If you would like a more personalized or private experience, you can email us at contact@kitcrampsads.org, which we will be putting in the description of this episode. And then be sure to like this podcast, share it with somebody that you feel that can resonate. We're on multiple platforms, so you can watch us on Spotify and YouTube, and then you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music. All right. Be sure to subscribe to our website to keep up with the latest news, events, and resources. When you do subscribe, we give you a 15% off coupon that you can use at our KCH store online to purchase any of our products and services. And then also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have additional content on there that is not on this podcast. And then we have some new programs rolling out in fall of 2024. So we want you to be able to enjoy and indulge in all of those things. All right, guys. Now, you know, we have a resource center on our website with all these free resources, blogs, recipes, things of that sort. But we also have a wellness referral section. So you'll be able to check out HERWaistbeads on that side as well. Now, if there's not anything else, we want to say gratitude to all of you for tuning in on this great Menstruation Monday. And we want to manifest a positive, productive, and peaceful menstrual journey ahead, day, week, and month. And we'll be talking to you next Menstruation Monday. Peace.